Naija Senate don approve President Bola Tinubu request to borrow 1.15 trillion from the domestic debt market to take finance part of the 2025 budget wey never get money. The approval shele after Senate adopt report from the Committee on Local and Foreign Debt. The report show say the 2025 Appropriation Act get total spending of almost 60 trillion, wey be increase of about 5.25 trillion from the first plan of 54.74 trillion naira. Because of the increase, the budget come get deficit of 14.10 trillion naira. Out of this money, 12.95 trillion naira don already get approval to borrow, and e remain about 1.15 trillion wey Senate now don give go ahead make dem raise from domestic borrowing. Senate still adopt motion from Senator Abdul Ningi wey tok say Committee on Appropriation must step up oversight on how government take use the borrowed money. The committee go make sure say the funds go into correct project inside the 2025 fiscal year and no be for another thing.
Recommendation 1, that the Senate do approve Mr. President's request to establish a 1 trillion 150 billion naira borrowing program in the domestic debt market to close the unfunded deficit gap created by the increase in the budget size over and above the prior approved revenue and borrowing plans. Those in favor of these recommendations say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. That the federal, that's recommendation 2, that the Federal Ministry of Finance and Debt Management Office should undertake the borrowing strictly within approved fiscal parameters, ensuring that all terms and conditions, conditions favorable, transparent, and sustainable. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The recommendation is carried. That the Senate Committee on Local and Foreign Debt be mandated to 1, oversee the implementation and utilization of proceeds from the approved borrowing, receive quarterly reports from Ministry of Finance and the Debt Management Office, DMO, on status, utilization, and repayment plans, monitor compliance with debt sustainability thresholds and fiscal responsibility, and report any deviations to the Senate for appropriate legislative action. Those in favor of this recommendation say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Now, Senator Ningi, you can.
My recommendation reads as thus: that the Committee of Appropriation should ensure that the borrowing is actually made for the purpose of which is required before the Senate. That the borrowing, the Appropriation Committee should ensure that the borrowing is made for the purposes of which that the Appropriation Committee should ensure that the borrowing is actually to fund the 2025 appropriation.
This Senate decision shows say them serious about fiscal development and transparency as Naija dey waka through money challenges for the 2025 budget. Make una no forget say, as we see am, na so we dey talk am. We no dey take blame. Ohifeme Onosimo, TMC News.